when I came in, slow is the first word that I would probably use. It wasn't just slow to think, so it was slow in a whole bunch of areas. So slow to make decisions. So if someone would ask me a question, I would have to really think about it, but it would take me a long time to process what they've said and then process, oh, what if I say this and then this will happen? And it was a very complicated, even a simple question like, do you want to do this or do you want to go here? So talking with people, having a conversation, just a simple, even like a get to know you, hi, I'm Ben, hi, I'm so-and-so. I would just not know what I'm doing, like I'd feel out of my depth, and also emotional intelligence, so kind of understanding, oh, this person seems stressed and maybe I should, this is how I should respond. And so in all these ways, like it totally feel, if you can imagine kind of like the inner workings of a clock, like all of the cogs and stuff just were like a whole lot of molasses, or like, you know, just totally, or rust, you know, just totally really going slow. So coming into the program, they offer the Arrowsmith program here, which isn't, it's not just a kind of small time once a week. They actually commit some time to it and do it well. Kyle, the caseworker here, is he's learnt to be a facilitator himself, and he's very proactive and passionate, I'd say, about helping the students push forward in Arrowsmith. So when I started, I did hear some testimonies. Kylie told me some herself and about Barbara and her journey. And I guess, well, I was very, I really just wanted the chance, like if it really could work, maybe I could see some healing, you know, some kind of improvement in my mind. So I really did, I dove in. I would say I really tried from the start. I said, look, I'm just going to try the best I can. And I really, in those times of Arrowsmith, I would go 100% and try and remove all the distractions and keep going the whole time. At the start, it's very challenging to actually sit there for, we would do 50 minutes and have a 10-minute break and then another hour, something like that. And even committing your mind to focus for that long when you've been out doing a whole lot of other things and just bouncing your attention around to whatever like took your fancy. So that's a challenging thing, but I tried very hard at the start. And so that's the start of the Arrowsmith journey. And through it, it definitely doesn't happen like straight away that you start seeing improvements. The first thing that I noticed was maybe 2 or 3 months in. I used to love to read books, and that I just hadn't been able to focus. So I would you know, read half a page and then I would get distracted or just not be able to keep following. And then 2 or 3 months in, I started reading, and I was just actually shocked that I had this ability to sit and read however much I wanted. And I was like, man, why is this happening? And then I kind of connect, you know, I really do think that a lot of the improvement that I've seen has come from Arrowsmith. The second thing that I'd say is a bit longer along the track, maybe 5-6 months, is when really all of that kind of slowness, it just dissipated. Maybe in about a month, I'd say, like I just went from, you know, still being slow, even earlier, maybe 4 or 5 months through. I also, in talking to people, it became much more, just seamless. I think being able to hold a conversation, and I didn't have to do all those sums in my head to add up, oh, they're saying this and they're looking this way. It just was, I could speak to people again without that effort. And also emotional intelligence again, so that improved, and I was able to read a room and yeah, gauge emotions, kind of see, you know, this person seems upset, maybe I should just give them a break, or I should go and comfort them, or something like that. So, and also the decision making that I mentioned before, that I was able to not just make decisions quickly, but kind of be confident and know that my mind was level enough. Oh yeah, no, I know that's a good idea because this and this, and I could kind of weigh it all up pretty fast. And then finally, there was we have engaged in therapy here with a psychologist, and I privately saw a counsellor myself, and I also engaged in a program called Creative Coping, which is a dialectical behavioral therapy course. And there's some pretty big concepts about emotional intelligence and emotional regulation, and pretty dense subjects that you'd have to move through in some of our sessions, and also talking with a counsellor. And there's definitely, I used to find it very, very challenging, particularly in addiction and when I first came in, to link together my behaviors and my emotions, and to kind of go into some kind of depth about maybe the background. I just found it very hard to communicate as a whole, all of that that kind of stuff about my mental health and about my emotions. And I really did notice, and this is probably the last half of the program, is where so the last 6 months is where I did most of that kind of work. I could really express how I felt, and I could express you know, how something that happened made me felt, and then I could talk about it with someone. I could actively listen to what they were saying and take it on board, and then I could make a plan with them to move into the future. And that's really something I don't think I've ever been able to do. And it also wasn't just good to communicate and all that for me and the psychologist, but just for myself, when I would be able to do that, talking to someone or even writing it in my journal, then it's kind of like I had intuition and insight into what was going on with myself. I'm lucky enough that where this centre is also where my parents live. And so I've spent quite a lot of time. I mean, even through addiction, I saw them in that, but much more now in my recovery, and we've spent a lot of time together and become a lot closer. And they are definitely they're over the moon, and they're very. I've told them all about Arrowsmith, and they really can themselves. They rate it. They think it's great because they see that my mind has not just made a recovery. Myself and themselves believe it might. Saying that my mind is maybe better than it's been in the past ever. So I've got a job now, and I'll just give an example of these kind of things just really make me, I go, wow, you know, something's really happened. So at my workplace, you know, mostly I'm on the till. I'm a checkout chick at a lovely bakery. And so I'm sitting at the till, and it's of course got different tabs for drinks and sweets and savory stuff. And I have a customer come up and say, you know, I'd like a latte on oat milk, half strength, you know, all of these things. and then she goes straight on to the food that she wants. And my mind is able to, like, I'll be able to park her drink, like I'll remember, like park her drink there, and then go and to do the other stuff and go back and remember exactly what she wanted. That kind of thing used to just completely floor me, and I'd have to ask maybe 3 times, oh, sorry, what was that? Oh, was it oat milk, So that when that happened the other day, that was a couple of weeks ago. I've only just started. I was just over the moon. I was like, felt like a superpower. My mate, he got a voicemail with a mobile number that he needed to call back. He said, all right, boys, can you just help me remember this number? And he put it on speaker and they said the number, and then I heard it once, and then that's it. I knew it off by heart. So I couldn't, never been able to do that. So